Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome to one of my canal series. This is a bit of a road trip. I'm actually here in Devon at the moment for a railway one, but I'm beside a canal. You're thinking, oh, what you're doing, Paul? You've got a bit mad. You're by a canal and you're doing a railway series. Well, a bit of a road trip, as I say. I'm driving down to Cornwall to meet up with my daughter again. She lives in Liskeard. And because there was a railway strike yesterday, I was hoping to come by train, try to book train tickets for this morning. None available because probably all the trains are in the wrong place. So having to come by car, but gives me an opportunity to stop off at other places I wouldn't be able to. I'm actually by the Grand Western Canal just outside of the town of Tiverton. Forgot where I was then, after driving down the M5 for all that stuff. Outside of the town of Tiverton, and we're near Sanford Peveril. And this is the Grand Western Canal behind me. After here, I'm going to make my way to Okehampton. Stop off there briefly before heading through Tavistock and into Liskeard, into Cornwall. And what I've got planned to do today is go down to the Bodmin Steam Railway, the Bodmin and Wenford Steam Railway, maybe film a couple of steam trains there. And then got something a little bit more special planned in the trip. We're then heading a bit further to the west of the county in Cornwall to a place called St Dennis, a village called St Dennis. And we're going to explore a bit of a railway around the area. Not sure how it's going to turn out today, so if you follow me on West Country Wanderings, you'll be able to find out. But it's beautiful. A bit chilly this morning, it's only about 8 or 9 degrees. The mist on the fields has been clearing as I've been driving down past the M5. That is the direction of Tiverton on the canal, and that I've forgotten where it goes to. I'll put that in below where the other end of the Grand Western Canal goes, here in mid-Devon. So serene and peaceful here by the Grand Western Canal here this morning. Can't tear myself away, but I know I need to bring you some railway content, and also, most importantly, I need to meet up with my daughter, which would be good. But yeah, it's blissful here. Just seeing a rainbow just make out just there. You can just see it there. Nice reflection in the canal as well. So quiet here, just the occasional car passing on the minor road there. But lovely. Anyway, we need to continue our road trip here on West Country Wanderings down further into Cornwall, or should I say through Devon and then into Cornwall, crossing over Dartmoor. So I'll see you in a bit in Okehampton. I thought I'd do a revisit to Okehampton Station. It's coming up to a year since I was last here, and since that time the station has completely reopened. Of course, we did go have a trip on the train from here to Exeter Central. I'll put a link in for that if you want to look at that video. Now the service has been upgraded to once every hour, and it's good just to be back here again because it is such a stunning, iconic Southern Railway station here in West Devon. Another thing that's happened since I was last here, they've now got the cafe open, the Bullet Buffet. Not quite sure how frequently it's open. It's not open as yet, probably opens about 10 or something. You've also got this museum, which is the Arthur Westlake Museum here, Okehampton Station, just in there. Tells you all about the history of the line and the complex network that were. It's called the Withered Arm, of course, and that referred to the fact that it slowly decayed. The line coming out of London Waterloo down to the southwest was withered like it was withering on the vine. Such a sad tale, really, and the only remnant of that now, or previous to this reopening, of course this is now kind of a blooming of the line again, and maybe we'll be able to see a line reopening to Bude at some point. Wouldn't that be fantastic? I don't know if that would ever happen, but yeah, before that the only part of it that was happened was the old network southeast connection between London Waterloo and Exeter St David's. Of course that is now southwestern trains, but it's lovely colours here. Just love the green. I'll just take some photographs. What we're going to do next, I'm heading into Cornwall via Tavistock. I'll just go straight through to Liskeard, collect my daughter, and then we're going to head down to Bodmin Wenford Steam Railway, so I'll see you there in a bit. So now got to Bodmin General on the Bodmin and Wenford Steam Railway. Just got a ticket with my daughter. What we're going to do is we're going to get a return, well, we've got a return ticket down to Bodmin Parkway, which is where Network Rail is, the mainline trains, and back again. Before we do that and have the train, I'll just show you around the station here, because there's lots of interesting things here at Bodmin General Station here in mid Cornwall. So it's not just all about the steam here in Bodmin and Wenford, it's also about the diesel. Class 08 shunter there. There it is, just moving in the background there. We've got a Class 37 in the shed, and on the other shed on the other side there we've got a Class 47 made by Brush in England. I think they were made around about 1962. Also got a Class 50 part in platform 2 currently. Sorry about the sunlight, it's not great behind me, it's not the best angle, is it? But I'll take you further around because there's lots of things to show you here on the other side. Some key dates for you for Bodmin General Station. The station opened here in 1887. It closed to passengers in 1967, so a little after the usual line closure for Dr. Beeching. But it didn't actually close to freight until 1983, and the reason for that, there was a line that branches off in the direction of Wenford Bridge that carried on opening, serving China clay trains to 1983. It opened as a heritage line in 1986, and this platform I'm currently standing on, behind me as well, opened as recently as 2020. Oh yeah, yeah, like a machine gun. Now, Bodmin General Station is the midpoint on the Bodmin and Wenford steam railway here in mid-Cornwall. The line goes down to meet the main line at Bodmin Parkway, used to be called Bodmin Road, the original GWR parlance, because it was sited 3 miles away from the town, still is, from the town of Bodmin. But it goes in the other direction up to Boscarn Junction, and it was at Boscarn Junction that the aforementioned Wenford Bridge line, like a long siding in effect, went to the clay dries there, the China clay dries there, and so that closed in 1983. In fact, it goes right across the road between Weybridge and Bodmin. You can actually make it out there if you Google it. I'm sure you'll find an image. If I can find one, I'll put it in there, because I say it literally went quite across the road on an incline as well, so it was quite a dangerous level crossing there back in the day. Well, while the engine's being refilled with water to have a trip back to Boscarn Junction, we're going to say goodbye for the Bodmin Steam Railway, the Bodmin and Wenford Steam Railway for the moment. It's not the end of the video though. Our road trip here in Cornwall, looking at railways, continues. So we're heading now to the village of Nanpeen, just the other side of St Austell. So we've now left Bodmin Wenford Steam Railway, making our way to Nanpeen to check out some of the old China clay lines. On the route we've just come through a place called Bugle, and we're now at a place called Roach. And that there is the famous Roach Rock. I've lived in Cornwall, well, I lived in Cornwall for in excess of 20 years. I'd seen photographs of Roach Rock, and that is the first time I've actually seen it with my own eyes, so amazed to see it here in the heart of Cornwall, in the China Clay district. Now the chapel on the hill was actually built in 1409 and dedicated to St Michael. It's actually been a ruin for in excess of 250 years. Nobody really knows why it became a ruin. There's a mystery surrounding it. It's a bit of a time capsule place. There were fragments of history discovered here back a couple of hundred years ago, and they are in the local county museum. The local county museum in Truro. But it's just a wonderful, iconic place in the midst of this very industrial landscape here in China Clay country in mid Cornwall. Now come round to the village of Nanpeen. We're on our way to the town of St Denis, and we're looking for railway relics of the China Clay industry. Now, just outside the village of Nanpeen, just found something interesting. Just have a look. So we've got some railway tracks here that disappear way into the overgrowth there, well overgrown bit of foliage. So these tracks here, and there's 1, 2, 3, and they're interesting because of the way the space. No, it's actually 2. So it's parallel tracks here, parallel tracks running in that direction. And this takes you to the line that used to go between Burngallow and St Denis Junction, where it met up with the branch between Parr and Newquay. And the reason that St Denis is significant is that is where the current line ends. In fact, it ends near the new incinerator, and we're going to see what we can find in that area. So I've just come out around the corner from where those tracks cross the concrete in the road there, the entrance to the works, the China Clay Works. And I don't think this site's particularly used, but down there, down in the gully there, you can still make out the rails, although albeit waterlogged. I'm on a raised section here. It's like a raised platform. I'm now on a raised platform, concrete base here, just so you can see where I am. And I think this raised level was used to load the trains up, which would have been down there, sort of giving access to get the China Clay into the trucks to get them out of the site and away by rail. So now in St Denis, and this is not a landscape tourists come to Cornwall to view because it's very industrial, and that behind me is the Cornwall Energy Recovery Centre, aka an incinerator, and it's near that spot that the line ends. And we're going to see what we can see following this footpath around by the incinerator. Well, you know from my Jack and Jill video that I love a good bridge, and this is certainly a good bridge. It looks like it's almost triple track here. That direction would have taken you to St Denis Junction. There's no track there at the moment, and then joining up with the Newquay branch, the part from Newquay branch, which we've come across many times here on the channel, of course. And in the other direction, it goes down to Burngallow, where it joins up with, or would have joined up with this network rail. But just a few metres that way, there is live track, and we'll see. I can't promise. See if we can see any of that. So I've just come off the main road through St Denis, down this public footpath signposted Trevisco, and the first thing I see is this, which is a good indication. Obviously a former gate to cross the railway, and there was a division of the railway here because in one direction it went to one of the China clay pits and then it spurred off. I'll insert the map now because it makes more sense than me trying to explain it verbally. And then you've got another spur which joins up to on the top of that railway bridge, which we just saw earlier in the video. It's really interesting woodland down here as well, so let's have a look. Sorry for the video's gone a little bit blocky. It's quite low light levels in here. I do apologise for that. So you've got a wall here. Tilt that there. That wall continues on in the woodland. That marks the edge of the route of the railway through this woodland. Probably not a woodland when the railway was built. Almost certainly those have been cleared. All these trees have come up and grown around me since this spur of the line closed. If I can find out the date of that, I'll put that in the usual way. So there, as you can see, that's the steps going up, and the railway track would have been up there, just the other side of that tree with its very impressive roots. And that spur that we just crossed over, where the tree was and those steps, served this quarry, which is behind me. As you can see, the fence there, dangerous drop. Obviously, can't get in there. I'm going to go over that fence to show you anything that's in there. Dangerous drop. So that's with the quarry that would have been railway served here in mid Cornwall. Anyway, our adventures continue. So the second part of our triangle of railway lines went down in that direction there. Again, I'll put the map out so it makes some kind of sense, so you can follow where I am. And so yeah, you can clearly make out that was a former railway. There's lots of other clues to the fact this was a railway. There's a sleeper here, and also there's lots of fence posts, as I'll show you. So this is the buffer stops here. The railway ran through from Bungalow to the end here in St Denis, right opposite the Cornwall Energy Recovery Centre, aka the incinerator. And the plan was for this incinerator to be built right next to this railway line, so the incinerator could be rail served, but those plans didn't seem to come anything, sadly. And of course that means that, you know, all the waste has to come here by road, clogging the roads up. But you got a perfectly serviceable railway. Well, it could have been serviceable, you just need to replace the track. It's clear, the track bed is clear for it to have been used. Now, though this is a private road which accesses part of the Imris site, the public right-of-way actually comes down those steps you just saw, goes underneath this incredibly low bridge, railway bridge, which doesn't even have a height indication on it. I really don't know how low this is, to be honest. And then it makes its way up on the other side, so that's what we're going to do next. Behind me here we have the railway line. There's two tracks in there. It's really difficult to see over the hedge. Try and lift it up. There we go. Over the top shot there, there's our two tracks servicing the clay dries down there. That is still railway active. These dries here, I think, have been taken out of use. I think that's probably why the trains, I can hear a train in the background, actually a freight train. They don't come this far. I can't get any more access into that, unfortunately, sadly. So what we're going to do now is make our way back to the wood, where we cross the part of that triangle there, and I'll wrap today's adventures in Cornwall up for you. That's the end of our adventures here in mid-Cornwall, here on West Country Wanderings. I hope you enjoyed it today. It was a bit of a variety, wasn't it? We started off with that canal in mid-Devon, in fact. A canal went on a railway series, I know, it's a bit weird, wasn't it? But it was good to see that. That was completely improvised. Didn't expect to see a rainbow there early in the morning, although it was a little bit chilly, but it was a delight to see that. Sound of the birds along that Grand Western Canal was fantastic. Then we had a quick look at, revisit should I say, back at Okehampton Station. One thing I didn't mention in that bit there was that platform 1, which was originally used for the Bude trains and then was later taken over by Dartmoor Railway, the preserved line, which was also bought by some Americans, is now sadly going into disrepair, and you can see a lot of growth of weeds, grass growing up amongst the track there. But obviously the Network Rail GWR side of things is well maintained. It's good to see that service. And then we went over to the Bodmin Steam Railway at Bodmin General in the middle of the town, had a trip down to Bodmin Parkway. Got some shots there of the steam engine. I put the details of that engine, where it was built, etc. And finally we came over here to St Denis, and on the track there we had a look at Roach Rock, wasn't it? We had a look at Roach Rock before completing our little explore here in the St Denis area. Hope you enjoyed it today. If you did, like similar sort of videos, well, also ones that I do on walking and canals and coast and history, castles, all that type of stuff, then why not consider subscribing to the channel, hit the bell, then YouTube would notify you when the next one uploads here on West Country Wanderings. Until next time, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you on the channel again very, very soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.